vehicles sharing the road this harvest season, we'll take an inside look on how to ensure safety for both the farmers and you.
Flu facts. What are the myths and facts surrounding the vaccine?
And Killer on the court. We speak with a WSR coach who has hit a major milestone. This is Cedar Valley Today. Hello, and welcome to Cedar Valley Today. I'm Melissa Kozak.
And I'm Ashley Davis. You may have noticed a little more traffic on Iowa roads this time of year, and not just with cars.
Cedar Valley Today reporter Kaylin Thompson gives us an inside look into why and how it can be handled.
It's mid-October and harvest is in full swing. Not only are farmers hitting the fields, but also the roads.
With farm safety, I think it's imperative to, number one, just to expect it. We're certainly living in a rural community, and you're going to run across, whether it's going to be a combine or whether it's going to be a tractor pulling multiple grain carts to the mill, you're going to run across it, especially this time of year.
But when both farmers and drivers are trying to get to work, it can cause problems.
One of the things that I feel is the biggest safety issue is when somebody speeds around a farm implement or something and the tractor driver does not realize he's even back there. I would just ask all drivers to recognize that we're both in a hurry, but to take a little patience and both of us slow down prevents us from having to make a speedy run to the hospital.
So what should you do when you come across a farm vehicle on the road?
When you're coming to a tractor or any vehicle on the road, when you see flashing lights and an SMV sign on the back end, recognize that that is a slow-moving vehicle and that you do need to slow down because you don't know until you're closer to the vehicle just how wide of load he's pulling or what is behind that vehicle exactly.
According to the Iowa Department of Transportation statistics, between 2004 and 2013, there were 1,947 crashes involving farm equipment and vehicles.
Take your time. It's gonna take some time to get around them. You may be in an area geographically that's going to prevent you from passing or making a safe pass. So expect a little bit of a delay with the farm equipment.
Well, I just ask them to appreciate the farmer's ability, lack of ability to be on the road, and he will do all he can do to accommodate oncoming traffic. And by them slowing down and recognizing that it is an oversized vehicle, as a farmer, we appreciate that.
Reporting for Cedar Valley Today, I'm Kaylin Thompson.
The newer farm equipment does have turn signal capabilities. It's important for drivers to be looking for this when they are behind large equipment so they know when farmers are getting ready to turn so collisions can be avoided.
Now, farmers this fall are concerned about having lower than average commodity prices. Growers have grown accustomed to $7 to $8 bushel corn and $11 to $13 bushel soybeans. This year, however, corn prices have fallen below $3 a bushel and soybeans to under $9 a bushel because of high yield expectations. AgVantage FS agronomist Jamie Borglum says farmers need to stay focused on getting high yields to compensate for lower prices.
What they've been using, mainly because in this time with those prices, the best way to still make money is to get yield. And that's what we have to stay focused as, to get yield.
More housing is needed in Waverly, according to a recent study. The study found that in the next 6 to 8 years, Waverly should expand to include up to 400 more homes to meet its needs. Nearly 5,000 people commute to Waverly each day to work because they cannot find the housing they need in the city. Bill Werger, Waverly City Attorney and Director of Economic and Community Growth, said he is hoping the building of more homes attracts more people to live in Waverly, especially the commuters.
There's actually one project that is close to being started for some rental units in town.
Get the weather.
Thank you very much, Ashley. As people get up and start rubbing the sleep out of their eyes this morning, we're looking at 48 degrees, but fear not, that's going to rise pretty quickly to a balmy 54 degrees, which I think for most Iowa people this time of year, they'll take. 56 is our high for today. It's going to be 55 as you make your commute home. Tomorrow morning, you start things off a little bit chillier, 41 degrees. It's going to up to 50 degrees over the noon hour, and 55 is the max that you'll see over the afternoon, 53 at that 5 o'clock hour. We're going to have a full 5-day forecast and more coming up later in the show.
But it looks like it's going to be looking pretty good for the Wartburg College homecoming game.
I think they have to be happy with it.
Sounds good. A WaverlyShell rock volleyball coach recently achieved one of her largest milestones of her career.
The WSR volleyball team shut out New Hampton rivals October 7th, but the team had a little something extra to celebrate.
WaverlyShell Rock's Yvonne Wooden just made history as the second volleyball coach in Iowa to ever win 900 matches.
Coach Wooden says that she couldn't have achieved this alone.
You know, I'd just like to thank all the people that have supported me throughout the years. You know, it started back in Pocahontas when I was there for 8 years, and this is my 26th year in Waverly, and I've had great people to work with and great people to work for as far as the administration and the newspapers and the TV and everybody, and my own family and just every volleyball player and parent that I've ever had.
As WaverlyShell Rock continues their 2014 season, Coach Wooden plans on keeping the team strong and is looking forward to more wins. Reporting for Cedar Valley Today, I'm Elizabeth Jewett.
And coming up on Cedar Valley Today, is the flu shot your best bet for healthy winter? We find out next.
And welcome back to Cedar Valley Today. As we wake up, rub that sleep out of our eyes, we're looking at 48 degrees right away this morning. We're going to see that get up to 54 degrees over the noon hour and stay pretty warm for us the rest of the day. 56 degrees is your high for today. And looking ahead to tomorrow, we're going to start things off at 41 degrees right away in the morning, but that's going to rise quickly to 55 degrees as your high for tomorrow, and Sunday looking even warmer at 59 degrees. Looking around the state today, 56 degrees in Dubuque, 57 in Cedar Rapids, 55 in Mason City. Wind's going to be a factor for everyone all across the state today, including in Des Moines at 60 degrees, Sioux City at 59, and Council Bluffs at 61 degrees. Around the nation, New York City, 71 degrees today, which they can't complain about, but they might have to change their tune tonight. 20% chance of rain. Not looking at rain, though, is Washington, D.C. at 72 degrees. Miami at 82, doing what they do best. They'll be looking at low 80s for the rest of the week. Houston following suit there at 87, looking at mid 80s for the rest of the week. Denver, by comparison, looking a little cooler, 60 degrees, but can't complain about that, I'm sure. 72 in Los Angeles. And Seattle, 64 degrees, and you guessed it, looking at rain. Looking ahead for your 5-day forecast, we're going to have that balmy weekend and come off right in the same neighborhood, 62 degrees on Monday, say right around 60 degrees for the rest of the week, 58 on Tuesday and Wednesday, sun shining through the whole time. And now, over to Ashley Davis.
Thank you, Jesse. And the colder weather comes with scarves, boots, and the dreaded flu. Most people turn to getting a shot to avoid getting that flu. Angela Barnett from the Waverly Health Clinic joins us today to talk to us about what's true and what's not true about the flu shot. So thank you, first of all, for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
So one of the biggest things, myth, fact, I'm not really sure about getting the flu shot is that it actually will give me the flu when I get the shot.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. That is a myth, and the flu shot does not have any live vaccine in it at all, so it cannot make you sick. And the flu mist that we also use has a very small diluted live vaccine in it, but it is not meant to make you sick. There's not enough amount in it to make you sick. It's actually to help boost immunity. So that is a common misconception, though.
And so there are toxic levels of mercury in the vaccine. Is this a myth or is this a fact?
That's also a myth. The vaccines are now preservative-free, and if there are any levels of mercury, it is so small that it is not harmful to us.
And so what are some of the steps people can take to avoid getting the flu?
First of all, washing your hands is the main thing that you can do to prevent getting sick. Also, staying away from people who are sick or avoiding close contact with those people that you know are sick. Also, when you're sneezing or coughing, using a tissue and then washing your hands right away after that.
And can it lead to any other illnesses?
It can actually, in people that have some chronic health conditions, it can actually exacerbate those, such as like asthma. It can also cause, other illnesses like pneumonia, bronchitis, sinus infections in those people that have a lower immunity system, a weakened immunity system.
And so when would you say the best time is to get vaccinated?
Typically between October and January is going to be the best time to get your flu vaccine. We usually see numbers of the flu virus peaking in January, and so we do recommend to get your vaccine before that. It takes about 2 weeks once you get the vaccine or the mist to work, so for that to boost the immunity. So we do want you to have that, before the numbers of virus start to increase.
Now you're talking about this mist. Kind of explain what that is.
It's just, it goes in each side of your nostrils, and it's just a vaporized little liquid, and we just give it into each side of your nose, and you kind of sniff a little and it's done. So it just kind of evaporates or, vaporizes once it's in your nose. So it's very quick and easy, and most people prefer it over getting a shot.
So would you say you've seen more or less people coming in because they're sick, because they're getting that nasal spray? Or
Yeah, we have had the nasal mist for a year or two now, and we can use it on ages 2 to 49 in patients that don't have a lot of chronic asthma or health conditions, so we do see a benefit in that.
And so where can people go to get vaccinated, and is it covered by insurance, or what's it cost?
Yeah, typically it is covered by insurance. Most insurances want you to get the flu vaccine and promote that, so they do cover it. There are places all over to get them. You can get them at your doctor's office, you can get them at pharmacies, you can get them at the hospital, urgent cares, schools and hospitals typically offer them for their employees and students as well.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
For more information about how you and your family can stay healthy this season, visit the Waverly Health Center website. And coming up on Cedar Valley Today, Waverly native Mary Friedrich is recognized for her humanitarian efforts in Des Moines this week. Stay with us.
Waverly native Mary Friedrich traveled to Des Moines earlier this week to accept a prize recognizing her humanitarian efforts. She received the Robert D. Ray Iowa Shares Humanitarian Award from the World Food Prize during the Iowa Hunger Summit. Congratulations on being recognized for your many contributions through Self-Help International, and thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
All right, and when you first got the letter from the World Food Prize, Ambassador Ken Quinn, what were your reactions?
I read it, and then I read it again because I thought it was a mistake.
All right, and what made you join this?
I'm an Iowa native, a Waverly native, and the founder I knew for a long time. We lived overseas, and every time we came back, he would ask us about self-help, and we could help. And I've known about it, so in '99 I thought, I can do this.
All right, and you've been with this organization for 15 years, is that correct?
That's correct.
Wow, and can you explain what Self-Help International exactly does?
We work with poor farm families at the grassroots level. Through Dr. Borlaug, we went to Ghana, West Africa, and then we added Nicaragua, Central America. We have a microcredit program for women. We also have a feeding program for children. So we've alleviated hunger and sustainable development.
Okay. And I also understand that the creator of the World Food Prize Foundation and Nobel laureate, Dr. Norman Borlaug, had worked closely with your organization.
That's true. An Iowa native himself loved Self-Help International, liked it that it was small yet effective, and invited us to go to Ghana to help him with the farmers.
All right. And now, since you have stepped down from your position at Self-Help International, how have you continued to help those in need?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to the International Global Youth Institute in Des Moines to be a moderator for about 160 high school students. I continue to volunteer in a lot of capacities, a lot of speaking engagements. I'll be doing some more at some of the universities. And we have a close relationship with Wartburg. So I think that's very important with community builders. We've had interns overseas as well. And I'll continue to promote that among the young people.
All right. And how can people get involved with this organization through Wartburg or just even in the Cedar Valley?
Just get in touch. Look on the website for selfhelpinternational.com. There's many ways in which they can help. They are encouraged to go and actually work in Ghana or Nicaragua, and they can do things locally as well. Just contact the office.
All right. And any final thoughts for the viewers out there?
I really believe that we can't have world peace until we alleviate hunger around the world. There are nearly 875 million who are very, very hungry every day. We have to overcome that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Sorry.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. For links to the Self-Help International website, please visit the Wartburg Circuit. And coming up on Cedar Valley Today, we take a look at one of the Cedar Valley's oldest cedars. Stay with us.
Domestic violence is a serious issue, and this year it has taken the lives of 3 Iowans alone. October is Relationship Violence Awareness Month, and UNI brought the discussion to the community by showing the documentary Telling Amy's Story. Following the film, a panel of victim service advocates explained the cause for concern with domestic abuse. Amy Corwin says it's important to be aware of domestic violence when it happens and what to do in the situation.
You know, right now with the NFL, with Ray Rice, with the Ravens, just letting people know that that is a really big issue, and it does happen, and it's not just physical abuse. It's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse.
The Cedar Valley is home to many great places that showcase the arts.
Cedar Valley Today reporter Brady Van Sickle took an inside look at one of the oldest and most prominent of these places.
For the last 98 years, the Waterloo Community Playhouse has been a staple in the Waterloo community. Founded in 1916 by the Waterloo Drama League, the Playhouse is Iowa's oldest and most successful community theater. Retired artistic director for the Playhouse, Chuck Stillwell, credits the success of the theater to the numerous volunteers they have worked with over the years.
About 1960, they had staff, but that staff has always been backed by a great many hard-working volunteers.
Stillwell says that even though the Playhouse is a community theater, in the sense that none of the performers are paid and very little of the backstage staff is paid, the product that they give their audience is beyond that of a normal community theater.
They treat it like professional theater. Their goal is to do professional level shows.
Artistic and Education Director of the Children's Theater, Anita Ross, once toured with a professional theater company and says that the shows the Playhouse puts on is at the level of professionalism that she is used to. Ross credits the Cedar Valley community for allowing the Playhouse to put on these top-notch shows.
There is an amazing amount of talent in the Cedar Valley, and to be able to use that is pretty phenomenal.
Current Playhouse Artistic Director Matthew Kearns hopes to keep the Playhouse growing and evolving in order to keep producing the level of shows the Waterloo community has come to expect.
With us being 98 years old, there is a clear want, need, and desire for art to be presented.
Kearns says that he knows that in order to keep the Playhouse successful, they need to keep pushing the envelope, and they need to keep striving to put on performances that the audiences won't see anywhere else.
Hopefully, people will laugh with us, people will cry with us, and people will constantly come back and make us a regular part of their entertainment life.
Reporting for Cedar Valley Today, I'm Brady Van Sickle.
The Waterloo Community Playhouse puts on 14 shows a year and on average and hopes to put on a variety of shows from traditional plays to black box theater and even putting on a show in the bathroom of the Playhouse.
For more information on the Playhouse, visit thewartburgcircuit.org. And coming up next on Cedar Valley Today.
Snakes Alive! Kids from Waterloo and Cedar Falls gets an up-close look at some reptiles.
This week in Waterloo, the Grout Museum hosted its annual Snakes Alive program at 2 local elementary schools.
The program brings snakes to elementary schools to give students and parents a hands-on experience with reptiles. It's part of a community outreach program that the Grout Museum takes part in. The museum will bring the snakes to schools in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Jason Dornbush, the museum employee who brought the snakes, said his goal is to bring the reptiles to Missouri as well.
The program we had here tonight was called Snakes Alive, and it's one of our many outreach programs where we take what we offer at the museum out to schools, libraries, daycares, community festivals. With this program, we actually let the students get up close and personal with the snakes that we have at the museum.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great day, Cedar Valley.